like the
Yeah.
No! But then it's
Yeah, it doesn't show when it's recording, but it's right there.
Correct.
Up there. Nope. Further right. Across the room. Way to the camera. No, so we're like in the actual video, so you can't see who's facing, which is perfect. And that camera's not that great. It's supposed to be like here pointing at the person.
English is.
It's mainly used as a mic. Alright, so homework. Homework, good. Written down something. Yes? Okay, so at least one book open. Just stop stressing out parts. We are where we are. So, this is now your group for at least a week, probably longer. We are in 232, so please join me there. In your book, it is page 118. So 118, please.
Page yes.
And we're just going to dive in. So, take that. For like a minute. And I'm going to release you guys to work. Did you just eat like a bag of candy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did it too. You was there.
Yeah, it shows. So calm down. You're back in class now. So here's what's up. I would like to see if these groups can be effective and stay on task. And 2, want to see what we have actually gleaned. What does gleaned mean? Anyone know? Yeah, what we've gathered, what we've gained from reviewing yesterday's lesson. So we're going to dive into 232, and as a group, please don't work as an island. As a group, as a team, please work through 90, 91, and 92. I'm going to try to not say anything for at least 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and review things together as a whole group. If, at any point, your group has a disagreement that you cannot circumvent, or that's not the right word, but whatever word would be correct there. No, I'm not trying to say what, that you can't resolve. You may send a spy who cannot talk, but may go observe at another group. So you can't ask questions, you can't interact, you can just observe. So no cross the room conversations. We are with our teams. I don't know how this desk group keeps pushing that way, but we'll fix that eventually. But yeah, you guys shouldn't be so close. No team. Try to stay isolated within your team. That makes sense? We're trying to really get back into teamwork, and I'm trying to see what we know about similar triangle proofs at this point. So, dive in. I'll try to be careful, I'll try to be quiet for like 10 minutes. So, I'm just going to peruse and listen. Good question. So, proportional or similar, we use just this. So if you had triangle A, B, C similar to D, E, F, what does it mean when I have the equals in there? Congruent. So just the squiggly is similar. That is congruent. Proportional is similar. Yeah, because remember, all similar shapes have equal proportion with each other.
Well, I don't know how to.
Whichever you
I
like
doing the
they're trying to let you do the flowchart because they think it's easier. But if you like to, so what you're actually doing, Jenny, just terminology, it's columns.
It's like,
Here.
Oh my god. Yes. Alright, now one. Wait, what is it? 1.3 for A.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. Because the
Yeah, the numbers are both proportional with the same factor, and it's the same angle. There's right next to it.
Okay. Look, so
All
right.
right. Get this, but then if you multiply this by
First, right, begin right on.
yes, multiply by 12, we get 16, and it's not just that, like is 24.
Great.
Now, what proof, what like theorem could you use to justify what you just said? Is it side by side or side side side?
Side by side, and we have an angle. But the angle allows us to do the Pythagorean theorem. They are similar.
So, either if, because he brought up Pythagorean theorem, if you show that that's 15, then you can use side side side. But if you don't show that JK is 15, you have to use side angle side. Okay?
How do we do what's the symbol for proportional?
We literally just had this conversation at the board as like a, hey, you should see this.
So you know what
Sharpening my pencil.
Do one of you guys know?
looks like?
There you go.
Divided by.
No, that's congruent. Okay,
No.
similar is
Yeah, but I have a proportional.
squiggly means they're similar. Squiggly
Yeah.
over equals.
I am agreeing with you. I understand. But I'm looking for a totally separate symbol. Proportional.
Okay.
So, we're proving similarity. Actually, you got this. So, one thing I will jump in and say, Jenny asked, do I have to do a flow chart or can I do a two-column proof? Two-column proofs are fine if you don't need a flow chart.
Proportional.
I just said two sets of numbers proportional.
That's another reason why.
Alright, so
Wait, I haven't read the
The triangle I, H,
is there somewhere or not somewhere?
Wait, so what do you mean the other way? So, you could relate a side to a corresponding side on a different triangle, or you could relate it to a shorter side on its own triangle. Whatever you do,
They're not.
or you have set.
We were waiting for you.
I know.
No, it's like the corresponding.
Either that's the kind of wall, then you gotta go that wall to that.
Yeah. But you can wear black cards because you said you can be racist against white
That's why they set it up.
Yeah, you can.
They're also 3, 4, 5.
You can.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
If you're white,
You can be racist.
it's just they are proportional because I like
Okay.
C is either proportional
Yeah.
or not.
So how far are we, guys? So last time I was over here, it would have seemed like we would have been further.
Wait, what's 9 divided by 25?
Yeah.
Somebody, why are you drawing?
Okay. Oh, you help me visualize. Yeah.
So C is yes.
5 and 9 are like
And then,
yeah,
Yes,
and all everything else
and
So what do you need to write for why it is not similar to or you got great.
Whatever.
Okay, I'll write one. I mean, it's easier. For me, it's easier writing it if it's like a knot for some reason.
So what do you? Why are they not so long?
so they put like
Wait, no. Or, no, it's not 8.
5 is our first one.
So you could show that. Because literally setting up this to that, show the 1 is, I mean, that's 2, that's 2, that's not 2. Well, I mean, right, yeah, proportion.
Let me know when you're done.
Because what you've done is find the scale factor of two of the corresponding sides, and then that scale factor doesn't match the third corresponding side, and therefore you know it doesn't.
Alright, let me know when you guys are ready for 91. Alright, Colin, are you ready for 91?
Well, yeah.
Alright. So, the diagram is probably 290. What is the length of the segment listed?
Are we singing?
What
Who's
is
singing?
Why not?
Okay.
You gotta respect that your classmates are also working.
44 plus 10.
Okay.
No. 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 I can't write
There's no B.
right now.
There is.
No,
I can't write it.
Oh, yeah.
I can't write it on 9. So like, it's an 8
We can't
on the
calculate.
side.
B is C and
yeah, that's it.
Normally it's, and it was when I went, so it must have popped out. Like it's an hour.
No, yeah, for yeah.
Everyone stuff like
9
that.
divided by 9 divided by
Are you gonna find it?
what is
I
that?
think there is a way to figure out what it is.
1.
Oh, yeah.
11.9 divided by 9 times.
It's gonna be about
11.9 divided by 9 times.
Well, you just do 9.
Divided by 11.9.
And then 2 that's multiplied by 11. Because that's because they are proportional.
Wait.
That should
I'm
be
still
2.5 divided by 9?
skill factor times 11. And then plus 11.
1 minute.
So yeah,
Bring it back together.
14.05.
Whoa.
Okay, C. What are you on C? 7 on C.
14.05 repeated is D.
Okay.
Alright.
Wait, I have to explain what these two. Just not enough. Yeah, I know. That's a weird one. Wait.
What are you guys talking about?
Yes.
Whoa, wait.
No.
Wait,
No.
let me catch up, y'all. Wait,
Alright, let's chat really quick, see where we're at, and then we'll probably release and go again from there. So I made my goal. 10 minutes, that's hard. In A, Colin,
What?
are they similar? If so, how do we know?
Yes, they are similar.
How do we know?
Well, first of all, because side angle side, even if we don't calculate the hypotenuse of triangle JLK, so but we still have side angle side, and we can use the Pythagorean theorem to calculate that hypotenuse. Wait, should I tell it?
Yeah, sure.
The hypotenuse would be 15.
So the hypotenuse. What are both of these triangles? Well, yeah, right triangles, but they're also just a dilation of
3, 4, 5.
the 3, 4, 5. So we have a triple and a quadruple. The 3, 4, 5 triangle, when I talk about it being the most famous right triangle, not joking. ACT and SAT, a lot of times you'll see manipulations of that 3, 4, 5 triangle. Always check for that. Because the ratio we actually have here, 12 to 9, 16 to 12, what does it reduce down to? 4/3 or 3/4. There you go. What about B? We'll change groups then. Dolly, Johnny, somebody. Gunner, down here.
Just go.
That's not congruent because not all the side measurements line up with each other.
So what do you mean not all? What ones
Like
do?
2 of them,
Which 2?
Thank you, Owen, for reiterating.
No, Mr. President.
What?
That's not where it goes.
Yeah, it did.
Why not?
Because the 4 goes to the 9, but it's not the
If
same
you
ratio
reflect,
as
it goes
7.
either way.
Actually, it can go either way.
So
But that's still
if
really
I'm,
not tough.
if I'm trying to make it similar, wouldn't I go small, medium, large for my side comparisons?
Well, it depends on whether it lines up.
So, well, let me pose the question though. If these were similar, let's say this was 10. No, because my alignment's off a little bit. Then it's double, right? It's a dilation. So if I tried to relate 4 to 10, my smallest to my middle, would it then make any sense for my middle to go to the smallest?
No, I'm saying go rotate.
No, but you just use a reflection afterwards to map it.
But why?
I don't know why it's not.
Because that's what you do.
Why not? You just
I'm
rotate it.
using a lot
No, you can't
Plus,
because then there's a
Thank you.
switch.
What?
And then
You
you
don't
have
have
a
any-
reflection, so it's unswitched.
So I'm confused about what you're saying.
Me?
Yeah, if we first line up our biggest sides, we see a dilation factor of 2.
Yeah.
Right? Why are you saying the 5 needs to map to the 8?
Because if you rotate it around like that.
That wouldn't be a proper... So let's hypothesize that these are similar.
Well, yeah,
the
they're
rotation
similar, but-
wouldn't get it there.
Well, yeah, but since we don't know how it maps on, then
But even... So the 4 has to map to the 8. Because proportionality ratios have to go smallest compared to smallest, medium side compared to medium side, and largest side compared to largest side.
oh, okay.
You cannot take the smallest side of one triangle and relate it to the medium side of one you're trying to prove similar.
Okay.
Right? Because if it dilates up or down, it's going to keep which one's biggest, which one's smallest. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so I see where you could see, sure, throw a rotation in there, but then it would have to actually rotate again or reflect. And so that's no. And then C,
They are.
ooh, wait, no, and they are, unless you were just joking.
No, I don't think Chris was joking.
No.
Okay, so why?
Because of angle similarity. Because we have that B, angle B is congruent to angle S, and because transitive property.
Are you looking at this one being congruent to itself? It's reflexive with an X, reflexive.
It's congruent to that instance, and because of angle congruency, we know that there.
Yeah, and we really also then know the third angle. Because if those are x degrees and the same angle to itself is y degrees, then those both have to be z degrees, or whatever you say. All right, sweet. Are we ready to talk about 91, or do we need more time?
More time.
All right, take another 5 minutes or so. Try to see how far you can get.
Okay, 92, let's go.
Alright, so they're similar, so now I get to organize our
I'm just gonna say this every time.
A couple of those will probably be pretty fast.
Okay, I can.
Actually, I think 91 will be pretty fast.
Alright, so we know X, angle X, measuring X congruent to negative angle.
Like 3, 6, 9,
144.
And then we know that.
Oh wait, I just read 9. It didn't read it.
Remember how we
Oh yeah. Well, I was reading it. I would get that one. How is that?
Yeah. Wait,
But it says right there.
If it is not.
You like,
what?
you like copy without even
I didn't even see it.
Well, 411 9 is
I think we're much better than last year.
there is
Like last year, it was just like crazy.
What would be
Always like, where's the
figure out as
like 5.2.
No, because it's not a.
right triangle.
Each year,
With non-right triangles, what else would we
I feel like
need to
each
calculate length?
grade is like shorter and less.
Something else, right? Either an exact angle measure, so we could
I
create a
think
right
it's
angle and go from there.
I think that's 10.
No, but like in my sixth grade, like a bunch of kids, when I was in sixth grade, a bunch of kids were like 6 feet tall, and then when I got there, most people were like
11 over 9.
So there's a conversation you need to have.
She's down
with
like my sister was like 5'3", and almost everyone was taller. Like a couple inches taller.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't have any angle measure.
You know, I've never seen a camera.
I know. Like each year they get shorter. It's not even like perspective.
So,
And then
11 divided by 9 is that weird number.
I've
This number divided by that is the same.
actually been
It's
told.
the same ratio. So this is the number there.
Oh, but we can't like BT.
Yeah, I've been stuck at this.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of keep going.
I know.
By the way, reminder, if you guys ever want tracing paper, because I don't,
So they are.
hey people, give me your ears for like 3 seconds, because I don't want to yell this. If you ever want tracing paper, because it's expensive, I don't want to leave it out for my 7th graders. Because I've seen some 7th graders using it. I don't want to leave it here. So, it's going to live right here. Okay? One tip, like I see a conversation happening that tracing paper could be beneficial. Use it sparingly.
We're going to actually show you.
Also, like these, if you've ever played with mirrors, we'll probably get one out later. This is also how you can show reflection mapping.
It's so much fun.
Wait, can we see them now?
No, I'll build a lesson out here.
Alright? So, you guys have a friend?
The input you have right now, you can do it.
What's the like? No.
I'm not mad at you.
10 is. I'll show you that second. That's weird numbers. Yes. No, we get for nothing.
Yes, I understand.
No,
It's 3.05.
You can do or you did.
You work ahead.
You did.
You aren't supposed to work ahead, Colin. Colin, we're supposed to be working as a group. You can't work ahead. Okay, well you need to slow down
Yeah,
and
so
you're
guys
working
go
as a
back
group.
to 1.
I
So that's
thought
like
you guys
saying
wanted-
if a shape
What did
is
you
a
say?
hey, so that's like saying if a sheet is a square, is it a rectangle?
No, we meant
Yes,
compared
no,
to the
you would
other
call
ones,
it
because
a
they were
square.
still on 91.
You know what I mean? It's about being more precise.
So stop, don't work ahead.
I was just gonna start calling it time.
Don't flip it, rotate it.
I'm going to help you with this.
Do a rotate.
Have we got it figured out here? I kind of let that process on its own. I heard people were upset because Colin was working ahead. What do you mean, what do I mean?
I thought they were really out there.
Okay, get it? So let's say you're team captain, right? Whatever you need to say, I need to be part of this conversation. Or if you're really just like waiting for people to write or whatever else, maybe you're not writing enough or providing as much detail as you could. Or maybe jump over to a homework problem and work on that for a moment until they catch up and say, all right, let's work. Cool? Try some team strategies. Work with your peers. There will be points this year where they benefit your knowledge. And if you work ahead, you'll miss that. Okay? Or what are you actually asking?
Like, if it says that there's one value here that points
Wait,
the fact that we are congruent, but all three are combined.
Yeah, I just circled all of it.
in this? Or where? What part?
Yeah, it's the.
Did you
Five,
have
five.
You don't care about
Said to make a flowchart.
Let me check.
If you want to make a flowchart, use this.
Yeah, wait. Of course she gave me one of these. I'm gonna do it. She's like, you don't need a flowchart, you take one of these.
The camera
No,
is
don't
all
worry,
like,
it's all for me.
they're not just simpler.
Oh, wait, no. Third one.
You're asking about B?
Well, I like wait.
B or C, Ava?
Oh,
B.
Yes.
Pretty sure it's these two.
Yeah, they have one value.
You're an idiot.
Oh, how do you know they're congruent as opposed to just similar?
Yeah, it's these two. Because if they weren't equal, then it would just be similar. It wouldn't be.
Yeah, but it
What's
depends
the
on-
difference between congruent triangles and similar triangles?
One of the exact same length. The means that all the lengths are the same.
Which means their scale factor.
One.
That's pretty easy.
That's what it's trying to get you to get to. The difference between that and similarity. So their flowchart that they reason through here, they set up the ratio of side lengths. That's 1. So is that one. Since we have 1, 1, and a congruent angle, congruent, not just similar. So if these were like 1.2 each, that'd be similar. But since they're both 1, it's congruent.
Okay. 92C.
Alright.
Rotation and translation.
If a triangle.
Wait, what? Oh, I skipped the if that. Yeah, I went one part ahead, but not farther than C.
Triangle.
All right, for 91, just real quick.
Why is it? Why? Why, Chris? Why?
Owen, what about? Yo, bring it back together for just a second, guys. Let's make sure we are all in the right spot. For JK, are we able to find it? And they're up on the TV.
Yes.
And we already kind of talked about
Yeah,
it.
the Pythagorean theorem.
And it is
15.
15. VT? Gunner. What about VT? Sorry, you already went. They made you go. Yeah. What about VT?
Oh, I know.
Actually, the cards chose you, but.
No, you can't because it's not a right triangle.
Yeah, and we don't know NS. If you knew NS, we could. Or if we could make a right triangle, we could. But right now, can't be done. So no, can't be done or empty set, like there is no answer. TN, Ryan, what about TN?
Okay.
Right.
Let me look. Oh,
Incorrect.
it's about.
We have to round, yeah.
Yeah, it's 14.
Oh,
It's about 14. No, it's 14.05 repeating.
Now be careful. TN.
Not TM.
TN. Oh wait,
N.
no, it's
Oh.
it's 3.05.
Ah, so 3.05, making TM 14.05. Now, Cameron, I think, is what they're going for because it's the long A sound.
Yeah, wrong.
Gives you this challenge. Now, I have the question. Okay, I'm sorry. Because there's 9 of you, there are times that you are harder to deal with than a class of 23 7th graders. I get it. We're small and we're casual in here. But you're taking advantage of my kindness, and I do not want to have to tighten up. I really don't want to. But when we need to bring it together, we need to bring it together. You need to realize for a minute what you have to say is less important. Or raise your hand and say it for everybody. Don't just say it for your neighbor. It's not beneficial to the class. We also need to stop singing, tapping, using our pencils as musical instruments, these things that are from elementary school, what you know is inappropriate. Can we take a reset? Don't want to have to start dealing with disciplinary issues. I get it. They use interesting names. They don't want the whole book to be Jane and Bob. the old math books were like the same names or no names. Like student says, so take a moment when you get to those problems, figure out what you as a group want to call them and move on. You are 8th graders in high school math too. You should be mature enough to deal with a funny name. Okay? So, are we done with 92 or do we need more time? I had questions. I'm going to get to you. And I had questions about B, where it says, what special value in your flowchart indicates the triangles are congruent?
1.
Thanks for just shouting out and giving everybody the answer. It's the
Didn't know
fact
how
that
I got
when you look at how they are similar, and most of us just kind of like already got there and then we're like, they are. It's the fact that their similarity ratio, their scale factor, is what? 1. So that's the value they're talking about. When you show the ratio between the sides, they're 1. They're the same. They're congruent. And then that angle coming into play, if we just had the same scale factor and the angle, they'd just be similar. But since the scale factor is 1, they're congruent. I think we're pretty good on that then. Yeah, go. No, that's a bad noise.
What?
I think we probably need more time on 92, right? We're probably not done.
Not quite.
We've done the if then and stuff. Alright, try to finish 92 and I'll pulse back together in like 5 minutes probably.
Okay, my question is that I solved it.
I've been about this going over.
Use an air diagram
Very
to
good.
express this conjecture from parts. Now that you have this conjecture, you use this air diagram to reason is to show A over A.
If the dilation has no factor of the image in the image for congruent,
It's congruent because the congruent
But
things
no,
are
but yeah, it's so fine.
it's both.
That's like saying a square is a square and a rectangle.
A square is a square.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure square is a square.
Nah.
That's fine.
I mean, it depends. Because I know a square can't be a dimension.
Are we doing 93 after that?
Yeah, if you get done with 92, move on.
Do we have to do the arrow diagram part 2?
Square is a square. Could be any square. Could be a different square.
Arrow diagram to express
Because that's still a square.
Yeah, D, if you know what to do, you don't have to draw another arrow diagram.
Alright, are you trying to show what it's going to go for chart? I know how.
Yeah, I think so.
93 is it. That's the end of the lesson. So, wait.
You draw something and then you
Not really.
arrow.
You see how long the problem's are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
Those
I
are
think
all-
they like all five questions, but didn't realize
Arrow
question
diagram.
because
So how many would that be?
wait, angles
Conjecture and a
A for reference is
Wait,
we need to find out yeah, no, side angle side.
Okay, just take a diagram and then right arrow on it.
Side.
Or now you like just make a diagram about the arrow.
Okay, so you rotate this
You just like
like that.
make a diagram about the arrow.
And the ratio is 8.2
Find it.
8.2.
Find it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna find it.
no, you're actually trying to
I'm like, okay, triangle kind of.
Oh, no.
Very nice.
I was confused because I thought you said no.
Do we have to do another flowchart?
No, you do not have to do the
No, on 92.
Oh, okay.
It's or a 2-column proof, or we just document how you know they are or are not.
Okay, I'll just document how we know. SAS.
Something. Why do you call me
Yeah,
that?
It's like
Just like
it's
I know, I know.
Yeah, no, that's right.
And like all
No.
Wait for,
Yeah, there's no
no arrows. They want to be an aerodynamic.
So guys, I hear complaints about the arrow diagram. All they're trying to do is make it easier than a 2-column proof. So like the arrow diagram that we could use up here, because we've already pretty much talked about 92, so we will just debrief 93 here in a couple minutes. You show, that PQ over XY equals 1. That's a part of your arrow diagram. The XZ and DQ, I don't even care which one's on top because they're just 1. What would be the other piece that goes into being able to say they're congruent? I have side, the angle. So if I say angle Q is congruent to angle X, so you can either say measure of angle, but M takes a while to write, or this means angle size. But in shorthand, I just arc across it, but it's really, there's an arc in the opening, and that would mean the size of the angle. You say M angle or what? Or just this? That isn't actually accurate. That's naming an angle, not the size
Yeah,
of
I'm
it.
naming an angle.
Yeah, so if you're saying angle ABC, but I'm talking about the size of angle Q is congruent to the size of angle X.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense? We're referencing size, not just point. Here. So then our final statement would be the properly ordered triangle congruent statement. 29, what do we think? Or 29. 93, are they congruent?
No.
Ooh, I hear a no and a yes. I like it. Take a couple minutes.
Did you say congruent or do you mean similar?
Or, sorry, similar.
Yeah, they're similar, but not congruent.
So I said the wrong thing.
And they similar.
Okay.
Chris?
I think, yes, they are similar.
Are the angles congruent?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Subtle.
I think. I don't know.
Half of it.
Half is right.
That's not the right order, is it? I knew it would eventually. Yeah, I
Why
just
did you
went
even
to
get that?
I just went to base of it.
Oh,
It came for the garage sale, so I'm buying it and donating to the school.
oh, yeah.
Oh, that's nice. It looks super.
I literally just talked about singing during class. You gotta stop. That or you can leave. Those are your two options. I'm not joking. If you can't control yourself, if you're affecting other people's learning,
Okay, I'll start with CAT.
Alright, so Abe, I'm going to try to help you, like what we were talking about earlier. So when we look at RN compared to TC, what do we see?
They're similar.
Similarity ratio of 2, right? Or half, depending on which way, because the way I drew my arrow, I'm just going to say half. So then, if I tried to go 4.2, which is obviously the smallest side based off this angle, and relate it to 12.3, would that make sense?
No.
No. That's why we would not look at that previous problem as a rotation, because when we look at it like that, we see, oh crap, that doesn't work. Let's line up the sides the other way.
Okay.
That make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. But then, if we relate 4.2 to 8.4, and we see double or half or whatever, and we have an angle of 47 over there, an angle of 103 over here, what else do we do then? I'll just take volunteers. Yeah, copy.
All I have to know is that angle R is congruent to angle C.
Angle R is congruent to angle C, and we know that. We've used these two sides, which is also why I like circling things that I use. So we see 47. 47, without proving anything else, we see by side angle side, we are similar. Any questions?
No.
So your flow chart, we need to document those two similarity ratios of either 1/2 or 2. Hey Colin, can you stop playing? This is not kindergarten. We're not stacking blocks. sorry, I'm just getting really frustrated. You guys are killing me. Like, get it? Some of this is easy, but like I said, move on and do your homework, man. Quit playing. So you would want to show both similarity ratios, and then the congruent angle. Those all feed together to make your similarity statement. We have like 3-4 minutes. Go ahead and dive into your homework. I'm assuming you could obviously do D. It's doubling or halving. Make sure you check these out. I'm assuming that we as intelligent people will see like, oh, that's information. I either know it or I should read it. So please make sure you glance at the math notes boxes.
I don't